All right. Hi, everybody. This is a pick a card reading on helpful advice for getting through a challenging situation or something. I already forget what the title is now. Dang it. Hold on. Let me click edit. Okay. Advice for this challenging cycle. There we go. So I hope this is helpful advice. Yeah, there we go. And once again, it's like 4:35 a.m. So I will probably sleep after this video. What inspired me to do this reading was I left this set of cards out here, and this says the end of a tough cycle approaches. So I figured, I'm sure there's people out there who are relating to being in a tough cycle. So if you're just finding yourself like in the same situation over and over again somehow or anything like that, maybe this video is for you. So go ahead and pick a reading, 1, 2, or 3, or you can listen to all of them, whatever you want to do. And once you've decided, you can go to the timestamps that are listed in the description box below to get your message. And anyone who wants to hang out here, I just want to say thank you all for welcoming me back. I've been really appreciating the comments. I read a few of them right before going live just now. I miss you all too. Passion Writer wrote that, pretty sure. And I'm being invited to go to Turkey. I don't know how to get there, but honestly, I'm tempted. I really want to get out of here. But, one step at a time. Yeah. Aww. Yeah, I'm really glad to be doing videos. I'm just reading some of these comments because I wanted to make a mention of it and give a shout out to everyone for leaving comments. Just shout out to a few of my friends: Josie Pruitt, Passion Writer 19, Margaret, Moonlight Goddess, Chiwe. Thank you all so much for the nice comments. Radha Romenza. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Yes. No one else gets to decide what's right for you. Only you get to decide. Okay, so yeah, I want to do more shout outs because I don't know. A lot of the times I read the comments and I react while I'm reading them and I just like and heart them. Just know that if I like and heart your comment, like I actually really appreciate your comment. And if I felt like I had the energy to like respond to every comment, I feel like I absolutely would. But I just wanted to let you all know that. All right, so for those of you, wait, hold on. I need where's the chat? There it is. For those of you who chose reading number 1, we're going to first go ahead and just look at what is this challenging cycle that you're in. So we're going to get a few cards for that. First card we get is your dreams need a practical plan, full moon in Taurus. So that is making sense to me. It seems like you're trying to really get going on manifesting everything, your abundance, the ability to travel, managing your free time, just whatever your dreams are all about, your dream reality. I'm getting that is the challenging cycle that you are going through right now, that you keep finding yourself stuck in a certain way of life that just doesn't feel like it measures up to what you are worth. Like you're learning more and more about your self-worth as you go along your journey, and it just keeps reminding you more and more like, why should I be in this situation when I deserve to be in a better situation? So that's kind of the energy I'm getting for reading number 1 about what this tough cycle is mainly about. Get the Page of Swords. So you're still learning. So some of you, you're in a tough cycle and you don't even know exactly why or exactly what the cycle is. You just know you're stuck in one, or that life has been really challenging, really difficult. 9 of Wands feels like it's really knocked you down. And that like you're wounded and that you need a lot of time to recover now from everything that's happened in life. The Empress. And then like you do care for yourself and try things to take care of yourself, but you still end up in this cycle of like just getting hurt all over again. The Death card, yeah, the cycle. This is the cycle of life, the cycle of death, transformation. It just kind of is never ending. 2 of Swords. So it looks like now you're stuck because now you have a decision to make. The Hanged Man. It's kind of a matter of perspective here. You could see this as something that's making it harder for you or getting in your way of your success, or you could see this as like an opportunity for you to continue to close doors on offers that are not for you, offers that you look at it and you think, that's not gonna make me happy. And then opportunities and offers where you're like, that just makes me happy already. Like, yes. And if it ever changes and it doesn't all of a sudden, close the door. You should have a right to close and open your own door, boundary setting, at any time. And I'm going to leave this. So the back of the deck was the 10 of Cups, and I was going to start shuffling, but I'm going to keep it out because I feel like that's a strong message. So I just like seeing the card. King of Cups comes out next. So it's like definitely the 10 of Cups is the energy to be in. It's the energy that you are working with pretty much as the King of Cups, like sort of master of emotions, of water, the King of Water, you know? And I literally just pulled the King of Pentacles. So you're a master at finances for some of you. So reading 1, it might depend on you. And I feel like generally what the reading is trying to explain is that you're everything, that you're a master of emotion, a master of handling the physical space, organizing time, organizing your physical energy, dealing with finances, your money, planning for your future, making wise investments. You're good at all of these things. And don't let other people convince you otherwise, because it's up to your perspective. Because your life is your own. You deserve to feel like the creator of your own reality. And then the back of the deck is the Wheel of Fortune. So yeah, this tough cycle, your advice that I'm kind of getting is that your perspective on it, that maybe this cycle, this tough cycle that you're in, might actually be a good thing. Maybe it's more effortless than you realize. I just had to look at the title of this again. I was like, what is this reading? Yeah, advice for a challenging cycle. So, yeah, that might be frustrating to hear that your advice is to pretty much, I don't know, put like, you don't, like, you've been putting a lot of effort, and maybe this is a cycle that can happen naturally and effortlessly, that like maybe you don't have to force anything. You can just let things happen, and that might actually give you the best outcome for you. I feel like some of you are worried about like doing that and watching what happens as people don't do the things that you would like them to do or something, or life doesn't play out the way that you want it to when you just kind of let go of forcing things. Like, when you stop trying to force anything, yeah. And I feel like some of you, you feel like generally you're not the type to force things, but somehow or another, you end up in all these situations where it somehow is all dependent on you, on what happens next. Everyone points to you and it's like, what do we do? Well, like they look to you for answers, which then puts you in control of other people. And you're like, I'm just trying to be in control of myself. And even then, I don't know what to do most of the time. Like, if any of you relate to that, that's me. Like, literally, how? How do people keep putting us in charge? And honestly, it's like you have a lot of strong energy. You're literally coming through as the king in this reading, as well as the empress. So you have really balanced energy, actually. Maybe you don't always see it that way, depending on your perspective at times. But you actually do have really balanced energy, and you're really like skilled. You're really resourceful and like self-reliant and reliable when it comes to emotional matters and 3D earthly matters. You're kind of a pro at all of it. So some of you out there can relate to the Pisces team. Of course, you can be anyone and still vibe with these messages. But yeah, just throwing that out there for anyone who may be a Pisces or have a strong amount of Pisces in their chart or something. So let's get literally the advice. So that's kind of what I pick up on as what like the message is. So let's and what your situation is all about and what my advice that came through just channeling. So let's get like an advice card. What is your advice? Know it all. Wisdom. So there's a theme there. Knowledge, wisdom, guilt. Okay. And we'll draw like 2 more cards from this deck. Determination. Wow. Okay. Which this is like saying like, even though like I was saying things like about like how you don't like necessarily want to be in control of everything in this world, you just kind of want your life you want to know everything about yourself, about your journey, about your life. You feel like you have a right to know. You have a right to know wisdom, and you feel guilty. And you shouldn't have to feel guilty about wanting to know things. You just want to be in the loop. You just want to know it all. Not to raise superiority and be like, I know everything. Oh, no, you just want to know everything for yourself, instead of in a condescending way of like wanting to know everything above a person. It's like it's difficult to just honor that you want to know everything, or you want to know everything about whatever this is. Like, obviously, if there's stuff you don't care about, I guess you wouldn't want to know about it, right? but things you do care about, you do want to know about it. So it's just saying you have a right to know, you have a right to seek the truth and to find the truth successfully, So I still only drew one card. I'm just going to pull one more. We get ego at play. And this saying that, yeah, you could just let your journey do its thing. You can let life just kind of go on the path that's right in front of you. And there's either a but or a yeah, do that, So I'm going to draw some cards to clarify each one of these. I'm just going to lay them out in the order that I found them. Let's do one card to clarify from the Signs from Spirit Love Oracle, and then another card from the Light Seers Tarot. Okay. I'm just going to grab whichever cards. And I just trust that it's the right one. And I think that trust that I'm just was talking about, that could be ego at play, Just let the experience that you're going through happen. Wow, this is only reading one, and we're already 16 minutes in, so. Okay. So this is the end of your reading as soon as I do these messages. So clarifying know-it-all, we get aroma memories, and once again we get the King of Cups. So remind yourself, you have all the knowledge inside of you. You do know it all. Your advice is to honor that, to feel good and feel confident that you do know kind of everything. And this, that's not necessarily always like the healthiest mindset or a popular belief. For example, I'm sure there's people that are like, wow, you must think you know everything. It's and so isn't that kind of everybody? Isn't everyone out there claiming that they know everything? Except for things that they conveniently didn't know about, whenever it's convenient. But that's just a whole different thing. But I know I keep throwing in other energy of basically haters. And honestly, that's because it's generally, it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to talk about what we know. And people worry that just ignore them completely and it takes away the power. It's no, it doesn't. It just lets them get away with it. It's if no one's talking about that, haters are just that we just don't like hateful energy, then that excuses it in a way. It doesn't mean we have to talk about it and it consumes our every single thought, It's that's kind of out of balance and could be very heavy on the soul, on an individual. But I hope you all get what I mean. That it's it can be very therapeutic to complain and rant about pretty much just stuff that sucks, But anyways, so with the wisdom card, we get hourglass, time is slipping, and the 9 of Swords. So you're afraid that you're running out of time. That you're wasting your time, that you're wasting someone else's time, or that you're using time poorly. You have this fear about that. And that might be blocking your confidence in with everything. So this is making sense to me now. that we have know-it-all, and that there's all this energy deep down, aroma, memories, almost like a distant memory that you do know everything, that you are the universe. But then in the present, with that wisdom, you have all these fears that are like keeping you stuck in this hourglass. So you like can't really tap into your wisdom is how it feels. And you're feeling guilty about it. Okay, so what's your advice about like this? So this advice is now becoming more of like what's just going on, and what's going on is your advice. So guilt, renewal, rainbow, and the Three of Cups. And maybe you are feeling guilty about wanting a fresh start with someone or with a group of people, or you're feeling like you're feeling guilty that like you still want friendship with certain people, or you still want to make things work with people that have pretty much turned out to be like a nightmare, not the real journey that you wanted. Like these cycles might have to do with people, basically, that like things you keep getting in these fights or conflicts, conundrums with certain connections, and you just want to try again. You just want a renewal. So I'm getting like you're having a guilt about that, but it's like it's okay. Like it makes sense that you want that renewal. Like you feel this like pure friendship bond, that this true like love and companionship. And so then we've got determination is your advice after that. 777 and Five of Swords, rapid soul development that comes from challenging times. And then the Five of Swords is the challenging energy, challenging times. And this is all about trying to get out of a challenging cycle. So the advice kind of coming through is this renewal that you want with these energies is in one way or another, perhaps don't give up. And then with ego at play, your final advice is that if in the case that you don't give up and you're determined to make something work, and it just leads you on a path that ends up like in the ending of it where you're like done trying to make it work, go with it. If it goes in a direction where it's working, go with it. You know, it's like, yay, okay, it's working. You know, go let this play out pretty much. And we're getting Violet, intuitive, spiritual, and self-aware, and the Five of Pentacles. So it's like you have wisdom here, you have your intuition, but you're afraid you're not going to go with it because you're too afraid of getting hurt. You're too afraid that you're actually just wasting time, that this group setting or these connections that you're trying to have a renewal with, that you're just wasting your time, that it's just pointless and it's not going to work out. There's like this energy where you're just being very pessimistic about the outcome, and it's keeping you from trusting like your intuition and your wisdom. So I'm kind of getting like, yeah, don't give up. And if you still aren't feeling like sending it on that like renewal, just don't make any sudden moves, so to speak. Like don't give up on this cycle that you're in. You're in this cycle for a reason. We just had the new moon in Gemini, meaning this is the beginning of a cycle. So if this is a challenging cycle for you, just know, even though this may be the start of the challenging cycle, if you're watching at the time that I record this, then the ending to this challenging cycle is coming up very soon. The full moon is in Capricorn at the end of this month. So that will bring the beginning of the end, so to speak. So this is just one challenging cycle that you're getting through, and you will be over this part. And I feel like things will be better, that there's something brighter on the other side of that door. Once you make it to the other side of that door, it will be better for you. And the good news is the key is there. You have the opportunity. It's there for you right now whenever you're ready to take it. So that's what I've got for you, reading one. I know that was a really long one, but I hope you liked that message, and I will talk to you all later. Take care. Okay. So reading number 2, your advice for this challenging cycle. So before we get into the advice, let's first look at what is this challenging cycle? What is your situation? So the first thing we're getting is taking time to breathe out. So you're in this cycle where you're having a tough time figuring out how to relax, how to feel good, how to just take it easy, and to just feel really at peace. So that's the core of it for reading 2. We're getting the 4 of Pentacles, which is saying that like maybe you're feeling like you're holding on to anxiety, or you're holding on to your breath, like you're holding on to stressful patterns is this cycle. It's really challenging because you see value in a lot of them, these patterns, these like decisions or like choices. I'm kind of seeing these coins as choices. You have one that you really, really bank on if all else fails, and then you have like a few other choices. So I'm kind of getting, if you were to just let go of those ones, you would just actually open up to more choices because you can like move your arms and your legs. It's not really much of a choice if when you try and move to choose this coin that the coin drops or the coin you're holding there drops. When it feels like you have to lose something just to grab one of these other choices, that's not much of a choice. So I'm getting that your challenging cycle that you're going through has something to do with that. We're getting the 7 of Cups card, which is the choices card. So yeah, this has something to do with choices, this challenging cycle you're in. Manifesting. So it's like you're confused as to which choice to make. I feel like the reason why you stay stuck and you hold on, I feel like these choices are all choices to not move, to close, to make yourself smaller, to shrink, to take up less space. You don't want to mess things up for anyone. You're like, you don't want to get in the way, but it's like, claim your power. This is your journey. This is your world. This is your reality. People don't want you to think that you can do whatever you want because they are afraid that you could use that power against them, that you could use that power to hurt them. And we would never want to hurt anyone, right? But I do want to say, truly, free will. Meaning, this is your life. This is your journey. Like, you can do whatever you want. That doesn't mean you'll get away with everything, For example, there's like a video game called Fallout. It's a series, Fallout 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it's like an apocalyptic world. And you can like choose to attack people if you want, right? But if you attack people at a town, the town sometimes will just turn on you. So it's like you could do whatever you could do whatever you want, but like there's a cause and effect. So it's like, but the point is that like not that you would want to use this power to hurt people, but just that like you already get in your head feeling like you're not allowed to interfere with anyone else's life. You're not allowed to make a choice that might hurt someone else or might not be favorable to someone else. You're like, the word that comes up is like being a people pleaser, is like a saying. I don't know how great of a saying that is, but like basically this idea that it matters so much that you make everyone else happy, or that you make sure no one gets hurt. Somehow people like point to you if they end up hurt, or they disapprove of your actions or your decisions or your choices. So you realize when you make no choice, you get yelled at still, but less. Now people are only yelling at you about not doing something instead of what you've done, you know? So there's that energy coming through. Further into your situation, we've got the Justice card. I'm going to just draw the rest. Queen of Wands, the Queen of Swords, wow. And finally, the Five of Pentacles. That connects. Perhaps all three readings are connected, but Justice, Queen of Wands, Queen of Swords, Five of Pentacles. And so your situation is that with all this knowledge in mind, you're trying to be fair, you're trying to be mature, you're trying not to use your power for corruption. You're trying not to be a corrupted queen, you know? You're trying to use your power for good, not for evil. You know you have the power to do this. You know you could kind of choose whatever you want to choose. And yet, as you continue to choose to do like the fair thing and to not hurt people, you're in this situation where you end up feeling alone, or you end up feeling pushed out into the cold, isolated, or like that you've done something wrong, or that you don't deserve to be like having your needs met, or have like people who like want to just do right by you, or like rather than just wanting to, but that they choose to. You know, you end up in a place where physically people, they might tell you that they want to like, oh, I really wish I could help you, but do they choose to? Like, you know, so there's that scenario going on. And not that I'm trying to make anyone like bitter like about any situation, but like that this might be genuinely a tough cycle that you're going through. This is really challenging because quite literally that's like the scenario that's playing out. Like, and I feel like that's because emotionally you've got a lot going on. There's a lot of offers and they all look like not what you're looking for. So perhaps the answer is it's none of these offers. I don't know. So let's get your advice officially. So that's the situation. And so I'm getting part of what you're wondering is like, are any of these offers good? Are any of these choices that I can make good? Is the choice to get up and walk away and to like make a, you know? And I'm thinking the advice is saying like, do whatever you want. Like, do the most powerful thing you could do is what I'm getting. But we'll see. So I'm going to draw 5 cards from this deck. And then, and then I'm going to clarify the cards with this one. And this will end the reading once we get the advice that comes through. I'm just kind of like picking up some random cards here. Okay, so the first thing we've got for your advice is optimism. Be optimistic about something. Okay. Queen of Swords. Okay. And cards. Fate. That maybe there's a reason you're choosing to use your power for good. Maybe there's a reason you're choosing not to hurt people right now or not to abuse your power. Maybe it has something to do with fate. Also very interesting that in a completely different deck, we've got this, it says cards and fate, but the card that it gives us is the Queen. It is the Queen of Hearts, but it's still like, wow, that matches here. So saying fate is on your side here. Be optimistic about your fate with this situation. That you don't quit 5 minutes before the miracle. That maybe for right now, you're getting the short end of the stick or whatever, but that's not going to be forever. So, okay, more advice. We've got energy alignment, names. It might have to do with a name. It might have to do with somebody. Three of Swords, that there's a lot of heartache about. There's a lot of pain connected to this name. Sexuality. So this could be a number of things. Some of you out there, this could be that like name calling, like people called you like names that shamed you. It made you feel bad about your own identity, about who you are as a person, the things you like, the people you like, the hobbies you enjoy, your beliefs that you like. There's people out there that you've experienced or a person that really name called you or made you feel terrible about perhaps your identity or your sexuality. Different message though is that that it's like that this is saying like someone that you have a romantic bond with. So this could be like a partner or an ex or a past connection. There doesn't have to be any label on it. Or someone that you just have a lot of romantic feelings for, but your heart has been feels like it's been ripped apart by this person or by a bunch of people. Maybe you haven't had such luck in love is how it feels. You feel like you're unlucky or that you've had a really cruel twist of fate when it comes to love life. And you've got a list of names of people who have hurt you in your love life. And maybe it's like, it's okay to hurt about that. And to like this looks really painful. Like, it's like, wow. Like you're going through all of that. And it's like, that's probably the real reason why with all of your power, you have thoughts about like using your power, like abusing your power or using your power for like malicious or hurtful reasons. Maybe that malice is not malice. Maybe it's you are hurting. Yeah. So part of your advice is to remember and honor that. So let's keep going. 888, new opportunities and abundance are coming your way soon. And your advice, or rather just the knowledge to let you know, is that like you're about to have a very positive twist of fate here when it comes to this situation. Shame for Swords. There might be things that you're feeling really just down about, that you beat yourself up about the fact that you don't want to be in the Three of Swords, that you want security, that you want a place where you can sleep, where you can just relax and just kind of like stay there forever in this cozy place where there's like a heart for you, not just your own, but like you want to be nurtured, you want to be held perhaps or cuddled. Maybe you want a cuddle buddy, you know? Maybe you just want someone to be with physically, sexually, or romantically, whatever that all means to you, emotionally, meant all of it, You want a heart that you can say belongs to you, that connects to you. And you have yourself, you have your own heart, but your own heart feels like it needs a heart, When you lack food, what do you crave? Food, right? So when you're lacking resources for your heart, you're going to crave resources, which is somewhere to provide you safety and space to just rest, You're going to crave that. There's no shame in that. So let's continue. Then we've got perseverance. Yeah, kind of think of it as like survival, that it's okay that you have needs, okay? 9 of Wands, yeah. It doesn't make you any less of a badass. Excuse my language for any if you out there, if you're a younger age, I don't mean to be a bad role model on anyone who trusted kids to hear that message and you're like, oh, my kid can't hear this. But it's like, adulthood, I don't know, we're healing and working through. And when we hurt really strongly about something or feel really strongly, sometimes we use stronger words. But anyways, 9 of Wands, 11:11, spiritual awakening. You are on the right path. Yeah, that taking the time to rest and to just do what your heart wants to do does not take you off of your path. You stand strongly on your path. You are always on your path. You're on your path right now. You were before, you are right now, and you will be tomorrow. So trust that you're on the right path. I'm kind of getting that your advice is just you're a badass. And you just kind of need to remember that. And it's also hard too because you're also hurting a lot. And so, yeah, and the reason this is such a challenging cycle is because it's a cycle that's bringing you healing. The healing is being brought to you just automatically with the energy. Trust that the planets and the stars are all actually here for you. That may sound really egotistical, but hey, we all deserve to feel special and to feel loved, and cared about. So trust that what's going on in the universe is divine guidance, is divine energy meant to bring you healing. Then we've got black, lack, rebellion, pessimism. And we had the optimism card here as the first card. And the last card we're getting is pessimism. So your advice is to balance between light and dark. Your light and your shadow energy, balance between your optimism and your pessimism. Communication. Wow. Maybe you feel like you're only allowed to speak happy thoughts, or you're only allowed to speak positive things. This is saying it's okay to speak negative things too, because it's authentic. It's who you are at the time. So it's this is all leading you to getting to a point where what you're going to end up doing to heal, I'm seeing why this is a challenging cycle. You're trying to find a way to communicate both your light thoughts and your dark thoughts without one overtaking the other, And that's really hard because when you have so much reason to be hurt and angry and upset, and you get to that point where you're no, I don't want to hurt anyone. It's that's so difficult, How do you communicate both? Whoa. That's pretty difficult. But I'm just getting like, your advice is to just kind of like see where your path takes you with that. I think you just need to let time move forward. Again, I guess right now all you need to know is that luck is on your side, that you don't need the information or any further advice really. The advice would be like future advice at that point. But your advice for right now is to basically just trust that soon you're gonna get the opportunity to communicate like everything that you're pessimistic about, because you already know that you can bring forth the communication about what you've been optimistic about. In fact, the reason you have pessimism is because whatever you were optimistic about, you probably got let down. It's probably what led to this. So it's like, this is just leading to more. This is all about learning more communication. So whatever this is all for, like, in terms of like, some of you are wondering like, if you communicate, will you get back together? If you communicate, will it work out? If you communicate this, if you communicate that. It's like, if you communicate, you will have learned more communication skills. Simply trying to communicate is key to communication. Unpopular opinion apparently out there. Some of you are listening, you're like, how? Right? I don't know. Honestly, because people expect you to do all the work for them. They expect you to just know everything or to like give them all the answers somehow. When it's like both people need to be able to do that to communicate. I don't know. It's confusing, but that's what I've got for you, reading 2. You got this. Yeah, I hope that was helpful. All right, reading number 3. We're going with this one because that's a good number. So, your situation, your challenging cycle has something to do with taking action. Be bold and make the first move. So, some of you who've been watching through all the readings, this is like a bit of a future energy. Maybe you saw 1, 2, 3 as a bit of past, present, future. That's probably not all of you. Some of you picked this reading, and this is where you're at with your message right now. So we've got the 9 of Swords, the 5 of Cups. Wow, the 10 of Swords, and the 9 of Pentacles. So, I'm seeing your conundrum. You want to be able to make a move. You want to take fast, decisive action. Be bold, make the first move, right? I can see why you're hesitant to do that. The challenge here is that you want to do that, but you're going through so much stuff mentally and emotionally. And I would say physically, because the mental and emotional body connect to the physical body. So if you're mentally or emotionally wounded, the signal will be sent to your body physically. So you're going through a lot. So I can see why you're moving really slowly when it comes to taking action. But the challenge here is that you want to be the one to make the first move. Wow. So let's just get advice for that. Your advice is the Hierophant. as well as the Empress, which is to take your time, to don't rush. You don't feel like pressured to act fast when you don't actually when you haven't figured out the decision you want to make. And it's also, the advice is going to sound cheesy, but it's like, keep working on trying to find happiness within. In other words, trying to make yourself happy. The Strength card fell on the ground. So your advice is to literally find strength. Find your strength from within. You can do it. Sometimes it's about having the courage to look for that strength. So maybe your advice is that you want to feel really good about, you want to be at a place where you're not, where you don't have to make any fast decisions. And anytime you end up in a situation that's not that, when you end up in a situation where you're feeling this mental and emotional pain, where you have all these fears telling you that you have to make a decision, otherwise you're going to lose. You're going to lose something and it's going to be over, you know? Those times, King of Cups reveals itself like this. It's like, tune into your heart. Five of Swords. You need to get out of your head. It's your own. It's like, I don't think anyone's doing it to you. I'm going to be honest. Reading 3, I feel like there's a good chance that, like, or you or someone is in that energy. And it's just as stressful to be dealing with it one way or another, right? So it's like, yeah, it's like basically someone here is feeling rushed, even though they're not being rushed by anyone other than themselves. And whatever rush that they feel from others, or maybe you feel like you've rushed people, recognize and acknowledge that that's because you're ready now. You're a patient person, that you're not exactly saying that they have to make the most impossible to make decisions right now. It's not like you're like, quick, press a button, the red button or the green button. One of them will deactivate the bomb. Like something really intense and life serious. You know, it's not like you're putting people through some situation like that. You're just like chilling and you're just like, can you just make a decision? And can you just like be sure about it? Like, and like know stuff? Like, you know, it's like the stuff you expect for the stuff that you might be rushing people or making people feel pressured or rushed about, it maybe is not all that unreasonable after all. Maybe it's perfectly understandable that you want people to be able to be at the same pace as you. That's not a bad thing. So let's get some final advice about all that. The Nine of Swords comes back. So it's like, yeah, one way or another, you've definitely got anxieties and fears of your own. So it feels like you can't be worrying about this, yet you do because you're so considerate. You worry all about this other person's concerns, fears, nightmares. You can see that they're very disillusioned from what's going on. Not that they're invalid or wrong or anything, but just that, like, all that, it's like two people getting the wrong idea. But, like, yeah. But at the same time, one or both of you also kind of do know deep down that these are just like fears that you just shouldn't have ever had to have gone through. Queen of Swords. So, but I am very much getting it's you need to focus on yourself, reading 3. That's your advice. You need to focus on yourself, on what your fears are, and how you can turn those fears into a strength to move forward. Wow. And to choose still to just choose to come together in what love is all about. Love is about empathizing. Love is about understanding what one another went through and goes through. So if you feel like someone's not understanding you or what you're going through, perhaps you're on a higher vibration and you're meant to manifest something better for yourself. So, yeah. So I feel like you're right. It's like, is it in your head? Is it not in your head? Like, this, and that? Like, well, ultimately, does the person empathize with you? Yes or no? Yes? Do you empathize back? Yes or no? No? Okay, well, that's a you situation, correct? But then if it's vice versa, then that's a them situation. And if you can find ways where both parties involved empathize in some ways, but don't empathize in other ways, that's definitely just stuff to work on, self-work, that then that's like maybe there is hope for that kind of a connection. But yeah, I just feel like your advice is to kind of skip the painful ending part and to just go for, I just want to find like empathy, mutual understanding, mutual love and kindness where I'm at right now. Someone who's just, I don't have to get up and go up these stairs. I don't need to go downstairs. That just right here, I'm just like happy and just like I can really trust this person, look up to this person and so forth, you know? And just feel good. It's like you can look up to someone, but they're on the same level as you. So, yeah. Maybe your advice. We get Temperance and the 10 of Wands, which is like you pretty much feel like you need to go your own way right now. Flying solo, and that's hard. And could make someone more resentful about stuff. Like you could be doing this, moving on with resentment, which that's never fun, right? Your advice about the resentment is that, like, on the bright side, there's other things you can focus on and do that still make you happy, that can have everything to do with you and just nothing to do with, like, the other person or whatever you've had to move on from or leave behind. You can perhaps go somewhere where you're happy and you can do it by yourself. And in doing that, you're bound to find love. You're not alone, and you're going to get like your dream reality. You are, okay? So that's the advice coming through. So, yay! Oh, wait. I feel bad because in every other reading I pulled some other cards, so from this deck. We'll just pull one card. Boundaries. Nah, I want to know more. Boredom. It's like respecting boundaries is boring to you is what I'm getting here. You're bored. You've been doing that. You try your best to respect everyone's boundaries, but it just leaves you bored because it's like, wow, then that kind of leaves you with nothing is how it feels. Or maybe people don't respect your boundaries and you're tired of it. It's like you're just like, it doesn't even like phase you as much. You're just like so used to it. You're so used to boundaries being crossed that like it just passes you by. You're like, whatever. So abundance. And intimacy. Wow. Yeah. And anger. It's like you're not trying to cross boundaries. You're just trying to be intimate. You're just looking for intimacy. You know? Dang. And then the final deck is this one. The Signs from Spirit Love Oracle. Rainstorm is on the back. Melancholy. Yeah. I feel that way all the time. Sad and angry, or like unfazed. Like there's no point in even feeling the pain because it's like you just feel like it's not changing the situation if you were to feel it. So you feel melancholy. I don't know. So let's get something for this. To close the reading once and for all. Diamond, promise. The universe is promising you this intimacy and this abundance. I feel like you're the kind of person where you actually, like, everyone has boundaries that should always be respected, no matter what. But I feel like there's some things that are getting in your way. It's like life is setting up barriers. Like, rather than the word boundaries, I'm more so getting barriers. That there's like barriers that the universe is seeming to put up in front of you that keep you from abundance and intimacy. Spirit is promising you it's worth it. It's worth the wait. That it's actually bringing you to your abundance and intimacy. That's the last thing I've got. And that it's just a matter of time. Yeah. 111. You are a magical creator. Your thoughts are beginning to manifest. So, it's okay. Like, daydream, think about what you want. Like, keep it in your mind about what you truly want. You want abundance and intimacy. And you have a right to be angry and to feel hurt and stuff. And you have a right to, even with all that, to still have faith that you are always worthy of what you've been going for this whole time. It's okay to have complaints. Speak it. Write it. Journal it. Express it. Communicate it. You're bored of this boundary that people have set with you. There are healthy and unhealthy boundaries. An unhealthy boundary is people who have told you that you're not allowed to ever express anger ever, or that means you're a bad person, or something along those lines. See how that's like not a good boundary to set with people? Now, if you're someone where you just really cannot deal with people's anger and stuff, it's okay to set that boundary anyways, right? But there's a difference between setting the boundary of like knowing that you're not at a place where you can take people's energy and straight up just telling that person that it's wrong that they even feel that way, or it's bad that they feel that way, or that now it's your fault that you feel that way and that you're hurting them by feeling how you feel, even though you're trying to respect their boundary and not put that anger onto them and things like that. So, whew, that's a tough cycle, all right. Sounds like yeah. If they're labeling it as the boundary that must be respected and you just see that as boring and upsetting, then I'm getting like the advice is pretty much just like go out there in the world, seek your abundance and intimacy someplace else, even though that's really heartbreaking, right? Because you really were hoping for this with someone specific. But if they honestly are not like willing to commit to you and promise to you like that they want to like work on this with you and like figure this out, like, or if they broke promises, you don't owe them anything, right? But I know for myself that even though I'm hearing all this, I still can't stop giving people chances for some reason. It's very, very frustrating. So I'm just getting like, just trust that even if you can't actively make a decision like with someone and tell them this is the decision you're making for sure, this bold first and final choice, like, just, it's okay. With the 111, I'm just kind of like getting like, you can kind of just like change your mind at any time. It's okay. Like, I feel like you're tired of going back and forth with stuff, but if you are, then like it's okay. Like, this is a frustrating time, but eventually you are going to get out of this. Spirit is like promising that to you. So you kind of don't really need to come up with a decision right now. You don't really need to like, like everything is sorting itself out. You're good. You just have a lot to work through. And that makes it really challenging. I feel like, honestly, once enough time passes, you will successfully just be done with this cycle automatically. So that's my final thing for you. Reading number 3. I hope you all enjoyed those messages, and I'm wishing you all the best. I will talk to you all later. All right. Take care.